Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Champions of Wellness podcast brought to you by Healing Your Way. And like always, before we get into this episode, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with anyone you know or you think may be interested in the content that we're covering. We're here on Rumble, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So please make sure to check out all of our socials. It's at Healing Your Way is a handle for all of them. And just excited to get into this episode. And the title we have today for you guys is The History of Sound. So on the last episode, we kind of did an introduction to sound and related it to music and how you can apply different methods of utilizing music to your benefit and kind of how you should be using it on a regular basis. But now we've decided we kind of want to make a series about this topic of sound because of how deep we can cover into it and how much information there is on it, pretty much. There's so much information that we kind of have to spread it out over a few episodes. I don't know how many exactly it's going to be, but it's going to be a few. But what we're going to do with this episode today is kind of get into all of the background, give you guys some context, and really give you a good look at the history of sound and why is it so important and fundamental to everything.
Yeah, kind of like also how it came along with different cultures. Every single culture along the years has developed different plans of healing when it comes to sound, and we're trying to show you guys how there's many different ways and different things you can learn to better your life using sound.
Yeah, exactly. And when we get into the history, you're gonna kind of be able to relate to it because I think all of us, some way or another, have been exposed to a lot of the origin stories or creation stories. And these creation stories differ based on the respective religion that you follow. But one of the central things to almost all creation stories is kind of the idea that sound started out as one of the very first things. And we're going to go into all of the different creation stories and where you can find sound being present or being referred to. And that's kind of going to bring the story together and show you how sound is kind of something that like permeates through all aspects of life, not just specific to someone or some group or some religion. It's here with all of us, and it's significant with pretty much everything you and I are experiencing in this world right now.
And sound, just so people know, sound is not only what we hear, but it's vibrations that happen inside of our body and also on the outside, which kind of affect how our body responds to certain things. Like if somebody came at me with a angering response to something versus somebody that responded to me in a nicer way, I would react to it way differently because of the sound and certain vibrations when it comes to high or low frequency.
Yeah, and if we kind of start off by breaking down sound into or at its most basic level, we have a couple different things. So first of all, like Joshin said, sound is vibration, and I'm sure you guys all know what vibration is. It's pretty much when something is moving back and forth, but the specific way or the rate at which it moves back and forth is very significant. So that brings us into the first concept of sound, which is frequency. And frequency is going to be how fast something vibrates. Frequency is commonly measured in hertz, which stands for cycles per second. And when we have low frequency sounds, you're going to notice them to be a lot deeper and more bassy type of sounds compared to high frequency sounds, which are very bright and sharp sounds. And your body feels different frequencies in different parts of the body. So, for example, you feel a lot of lower frequencies more in the chest and belly, and a lot of higher ones in your head and ears. So, that's like the first concept is frequency. The second basic concept around sound is going to be amplitude. So, frequency, like we just said, is how fast or the rate at which something is vibrating, and amplitude is going to be how big the vibration is, or how loud we perceive that vibration to be. So different sounds can have the same frequency but different amplitude. So pretty much it would be like someone playing a bass drum, but instead of playing it very loudly or stomping on it, they're doing it very softly. So it has the same frequency, but a different amplitude because the larger vibration is much louder, even though the rate is the same. And then we have. Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, you can also use the amplitude to kind of affect how you want to feel the sound or frequency that you're listening to. Say you are listening to a low bass, which is going to give you a more calming effect. You can raise it louder or lower depending on how you want to feel it. Kind of using your body as like I said before, as a radio station. You can change it, and it can affect you in many different ways.
Yeah, and like those two things are like good things to tweak sometimes. Like, I don't know, if you're listening to music but you feel that it's too loud, you might find that even just lowering the volume or changing the amplitude makes all the difference. It might not be the specific frequency that's causing you disturbance. It might be the amplitude. So, but those are like the two basic concepts that go hand in hand. And I didn't really like take note of the difference, even though like we see it every day. But the third concept that I think a lot of people don't really know about, and I didn't know about until I read a little bit more about it, is resonance. So resonance is pretty much when one vibrating thing makes another start vibrating with it. So, for example, when you're in the car and you're playing music, and then there's a specific note or a part of that song that makes the car door shake or rattle or makes the glass rattle, that's pretty much what resonance is. It means that the sound from one thing is now affecting the sound of another. So my vibration is affecting your vibration. So I thought that was really cool because it just shows the kind of interconnectedness of our world, because all of these different sound waves or vibrations are all affecting us. Even if it's something that we can't hear, it's still having an effect on us in a very specific way. And we, of course, have our own kind of song or rhythm playing in our body with our heartbeat and with the different frequencies that our body is operating at. But you just got to realize that it's also being affected by the sounds of everything else going around. So everything has a sort of resonance to it. And the more powerful a certain vibration is, it's going to have effect on other entities as well.
Oh yeah, and also about something that I was thinking about as well, with Traeger regulating our body's rhythm. We use Traeger and we move our bodies in a certain type of wave-like movement, which kind of gives you ripples down the body and sending feedback uh, throughout the body to kind of get a response. So a trigger is also kind of like our body having its own resonance and affecting another one by doing these repeated movements and having like a wave like a response. So if somebody wants to regulate their rhythm within their body, a trigger is also a very good way of affecting it.
And the other aspect, uh, as to how this also even relates to trigger further, is that if I am personally not at the right space or right vibration, then I'm not able to transfer a healing vibration to my client. So pretty much like if I am not in a good place, I cannot give the client a good experience. So I can't. It pretty much is saying you can't give what you don't have. And if I want to resonate with my client to give them a really nice rhythmic experience, I have to address my own needs first. I have to make sure that my vibration, my rhythm, and the way I'm feeling is good before I even feel safe to jump into a session, because you don't want to um, affect people in a negative way. You want to, especially when you're playing the practitioner role, you have to kind of be a standard, and you have to be a place of peace, of harmony, and of good spirit, because that's what you're pretty much transferring or giving to your client. Because even slight disturbances can affect how a session goes, and I've noticed that when I wasn't feeling the best, or I wasn't in the right state, whether it was mentally, physically, it always affected my sessions, and it just makes me want to take care of myself so I can then take care of other people.
And you can also use this in your everyday life. Like say you're working on an assignment or doing work that's really stressful. You can take a second and be like, hey, how am I feeling right now? And how is my body responding to doing all this work? Do I need a second, or do I need a couple minutes to take a deep breath and understand what's going on so I can really listen in and fix what my body's telling me to?
Yeah, and with that, we're gonna kind of go into the first part of different creation stories. The first one we're gonna start with is the Hindu or the Vedic tradition, which sees the sound Om as the seed of existence. So we talked about Om in the last podcast episode as one of the most basic and one of the most primordial sounds that there is, and how Om can be used on a day-to-day basis as a chant to help bring yourself back to harmony with the universe and with your environment. Um, and the way the Hindus view Om is like as something as the most basic sound that includes everything. So they say that Om includes or contains all other sounds, just like pretty much how like a seed holds the entire tree. It's the basis on which everything else or all other sounds have been expanded upon. And what it does, it becomes creation, preservation, and dissolution. So it's like a full cosmic cycle just in one vibration. So Om is probably one of the most powerful sounds or chants that you can do if you want to bring yourself back in harmony and just help yourself out in any situation.
And also, Om kind of it actually runs through all the frequencies that our body can hear and understand, the low, medium, and high frequency. So you're kind of giving yourself an internal massage, like giving your body all the vibrations and kind of ripples throughout your whole body compared to an external vibration.
Yeah. And if we move on to other ancient
Oh yeah, I wanted
creation.
to
Oh, you
go
wanted to
over.
go into?
Yeah, so with the no, I wanted to go back to Ohm and how to do it. I did it on the last podcast, but this one I'll go over it one more time just to make it clear. So when you're feeling the whole sound Ohm, it's three different steps. Ah in your chest, oh in your throat, and then in your head. So do you want to do it, Song, real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So you take a deep breath, and on the exhale is when you make the sound. So and you close your eyes too. So we'll do it again. Mm. And you would do it to kind of relax your body or even upregulate your body. And you could do it. Usually, I think it's better if you do it one in earlier in the day, say in the morning when you wake up, and then at the end of the day. So kind of starting your day off with a internal vibration or massage, like I said, and also at the end of the day, giving you that relaxing sensation.
Yeah, and it's something simple, like we've been saying. You can literally do it anywhere. Lots of the Vedic chants are all start off and are all based around Om. There there's other primordial sounds that you can chant as well, but if you want the most simple or the most basic one that kind of includes all of the other sounds, it's gonna be Om. So that's something uh, that you can implement even now, like we just did. Doing it a couple times, seeing how you feel before and after, and the reason why it works is because of that idea of resonance. So you're kind of pushing that sound into existence, and then it's resonating with all of the other parts of your body. So it can be kind of seen as a clearing or purifying act because you're now bringing all the other parts of your body, which may not be resonating at the most optimal frequency, now up to par with the sound of Om. So Om is going to be vibrating throughout your body, and it's good just going to make it more purified.
And also, if people want to get an idea of like how long to do it, you can do it for 5 to 10 minutes, and that's all it takes, doing it over and over again for that period of time. And also, I think at least two times a day is good enough.
Yeah. And now that we did you want to add anything else about Om?
Yeah, we can move on to the next one.
So the next place that you can find sound being something really important in creation is, excuse me, through the Hebrew and Christian traditions. So in the book of Genesis, as most of you know, creation begins when God speaks. So the verse in Genesis, or the sentence in Genesis says exactly, and God said, "Let there be light." So what I want you to notice about that sentence, it says, "God said." So notice that sound comes before the light, and vibration comes before form. So that just shows you that for light to have existed, it had to be spoken into existence. So the sound came, and then that vibration then created form, and then light came after. So what I really found like interesting about this one exactly is kind of how we should approach something like prayer. I believe like a lot in speaking things into existence, not just thinking about it, because it's the actual sound and the actual words that you are saying that is going to make something happen. So, kind of, or a tip I can give is when you pray, kind of pray as if, kind of pray as how God was during the creation story. He spoke everything into existence, and then uh, the form, the vibration created form, and then formed all of these beautiful different things. So you can kind of take control over your own reality by taking advantage of this super basic principle of sound. So if you don't voice it out there, if you don't put it out there, how can something come to happen? So what you should do is pray, not just in your mind, but also speak it as well. So whatever prayer you have, make sure that you're voicing it as well, because that is like a super crucial part. Otherwise, it's not a strong prayer. You have to speak it into existence, pretty much, just like how God did with the creation story.
And you can kind of see how important that is. Kind of seeing how vibrations and sound is the original part of our existence, and how important it is to us today. And we kind of forget that sound is always there, and sound is always going to affect us.
Yeah, and this also teaches you not to take words very lightly. You should take, I think, everything that you say seriously, because um, it really affects what happens in reality. Like if you speak a certain way with a certain tone, that's gonna be that's gonna dictate a lot, or have to say a lot about what's gonna happen to your world. So whenever you have a thought, just know that it does not have to come out or be verbalized. Because sometimes in a bad case, you can say something negative, which is giving vibration and sound and energy towards that negative thing to happen. But if you, on the other hand, are um, speaking out positive thoughts, then that's going to change the sound, the frequency, the vibration of what you're saying, and it's going to change the outcomes that are yet to be, directly because how vibration and energy interact with the world. Like what you put out is pretty much what you get. I know you've probably heard that so many times, but it's very, very true, especially in the example of sound. So whenever you're thinking something, just know you still have the choice to say something positive or say something negative. And having negative thoughts is not a bad thing, but you are the one at the end of the day who has the choice to either verbalize it or not. And I kind of believe that while some things should be verbalized, trying to make things as positive as possible is gonna work out for the best. And what you say is like super super important. Whether it's if you're saying it with only one person around, a bunch of people around, or by yourself, what you say and the energy that comes along with what you say is super super important. And just like God, you can create things just by talking them into existence.
And also, Son, are you there? It froze a little bit, but
Yeah, I'm here.
okay. Yeah, and also many emotions and feelings can be portrayed through sound. Like, say I had an interview with this college, and I really wanted to get in, or interview for a job. The way you speak and the way you feel and say confident, uh, feel and say things and look confident and feel like you know everything, will give a different reaction and different feeling for the people listening. So whatever you say and how you say things can is really important, and I think paying attention to where you do it as well.
Yeah, definitely. So what you say not only has effect on you personally, but also the other people around you, like Joshin is saying. So if you're saying something with a bad intent or bad emotion, that vibration is gonna, or sound is now gonna be resonating with that other person. So if we circle back to the concept of resonance, if you're like what if what you're saying has a specific frequency, that's going to resonate with somebody else. And feelings of happiness or positive energy has a certain frequency, and feelings of sadness or negative energy also has a specific frequency. So what you're talking or saying about is going to resonate with that person. So you're affecting them even if you're not you're not being conscious about it. So that's why we're kind of saying be aware about what you say, because you're not only affecting someone in by what you're actually saying, you're affecting them on a vibrational level as well, which actually is why you see a lot of the reactions to certain things being said, either very harsh or very positive, because it all depends on what you're saying and how it's affecting that person.
And also kind of go with what your body agrees with too. Like Sahan might like different music to me, and he or another thing, he might be more attracted to how certain people speak according to how I feel. Like certain I might have different friends than him because of how they speak and how they talk to him. So you can apply this to many different things and kind of go where your body agrees. So like whatever sounds you're hearing and whatever music you feel in the mood to listen to that. And I think it will be a big effect to your day.
Yeah, and also be very very mindful about uh, what you're listening to, and how it's affecting you, because sometimes people might be kind of feeding the wrong thing by maybe listening to music that's saying a lot of uh, things that they don't align with, or values that they don't align with, but it's actually kind of installing um, different ideas and vibrations into you by the words being said. So if like I know a lot of people listen to like rap music, I do too, but if you think about it on that level, what they're saying, even if you're not paying the closest attention to and you're only listening just for maybe the melody, or if it sounds catchy, the words that they're actually saying are processing in your brain and in your body, even if you're not realizing it. So what you're exposing yourself to is really affecting the way you act, the way you talk, and all of these different things. So it's good to go with what you feel, but also be mindful about the different things that you're doing or listening to, maybe causing.
Yeah, all things have meaning and feeling, even on a vibrational level.
Yeah. And if we move on to some other creation stories in the Islamic tradition, um, the universe begins with a very simple, powerful vibrational decree or command, and the command is be, and it is. So just like the Christian origin story, this is a spoken command, a vibratory impulse, and reality appears from this command. And it's creation through pure sound intention. And I think that point is really important, especially for something like prayer, because you're able to focus uh, your intention, your feelings, your energy into sound, and that's what's gonna um, make it come to reality, pretty much. Just like I think people really think things too hard. They think a lot of like of course every day there are a lot of things that we can't control, and you don't you don't think that you have a good grasp on your own reality. But I've noticed in my life a lot when I prayed, and I definitely spoke, and when I've spoken it, rather than maybe not have verbalized it out there, it's definitely made a huge difference. The prayers, I feel like the prayers that I've said out loud are the ones that are almost always answered, and the ones that I maybe don't feel strong enough to verbalize never never really be are answered, just because I haven't verbalized it. So that one small step kind of changes like the whole playing field. So if you kind of want to change your reality for the better, or you can also do it in a negative way, you kind of have to speak it. And that's, I think, one step that a lot of people like are missing in their daily life. And
And
once you speak it, I don't worry about it. Just be glad that you put it out there. You put it out there as a command, and now you can leave it. It's said, and then now it's up to pretty much the universe to answer or not answer your prayers.
that's why a lot of prayers are said out loud as well. It has a different meaning and feeling when somebody's saying a prayer and actually trying to kind of manifesting what they're saying and feeling it throughout their whole body.
Yeah, and moving on to the Egyptian story, their creation story centers on the god Ta, and first in the story, Ta imagines the world in his heart and then speaks it into existence. And his tongue and lips are the instruments of creation. The world becomes a real the world becomes real through utterance and through vibration. And here, just like the four other examples I've given about creation story, sound precedes form. So for form to take place, sound must happen first. That vibration must be put out there first, and then it takes form. And if we kind of sum all of these up, the pattern beneath all of these traditions is that first creation begins in silence. And with silence, you kind of have like a formless potential. Anything can happen, anything can take form. It's pretty much waiting to take form. There's limitless potential. And then once a vibration or sound is put out there through something like a word, a tone, a chant, a breath, a hum, or a drum beat, that vibration is going to organize chaos, which is the sound, into something rhythmic like a pattern. And then that's where you begin to see all of these things take form, like light, matter, time, space, life, everything that we know to exist now. It all happens in this super basic sequence that first there's silence, then there's sound, and then there's form. And then if you kind of want to put like a scientific spin on this, it's potential, vibration, and then reality. So there's a potential for something to be created with silence, and then sound is introduced, creating vibration, and then that vibration takes on form and then creates reality. So that's like pretty much the most basic step into how to create something. Like if I want to create something for myself, this is like the basic formula to pretty much doing that. If I want to create opportunity, I want to go for something, I want to do something, I have the potential there. I think about it, then I pray it into existence, and then I do as much as I can on my own to make that into a reality. And then whatever will happen with the universe brings it all together. So speaking it brings that reality much closer to you than not. So if you want to really manifest and bring out a specific reality into your life, you have to speak it out.
And also regulating your body's internal rhythm. There's many different ways that we were talking about when it comes to regulating that. Like we were saying, humming, chanting Om, speaking mantras, and having even prayer, like San said, into your everyday life will definitely regulate your rhythm and keep you tuned to what your body wants to feel and understand.
Yeah. And I kind of made some analogies here. So the way you can kind of relate all of these things to a physics level is matter is vibrations in a field, energy is oscillation, atoms are rhythm, your DNA resonates, and your cells communicate electrically. So all of these relationships are tied together, and pretty much everyone's rhythm is playing off of each other. So my rhythm is playing off of your rhythm, and so is everything else in the universe. And that's kind of dictating the flow in how things are happening. So when you understand how connected you really are to everyone and everything, it makes it much easier to dictate where you want to go in the world, what you want to be in the world, by just understanding that relationship and then applying what you know or can do to then go to the next step.
And even there's even a rhythm in this conversation that we're having. San saying certain things, and I'm listening, and my body's listening and responding to what he's saying. So it's kind of regulating the rhythm that we have in our conversation as well. And even when you look at, say, sports, you're interacting with other people. Your internal resonance is affecting other people around you. So whatever you feel and think is kind of what's going to happen on the outside.
And one other thing that I think is was really profound when I took notice of it was how many things or how much sound is going on when you take time to pause and stop what you're doing. So when I think this was talked about on the one of the Figuring Out Friday podcasts about meditation, when there was the group led meditation. What I think it was Pritt said to kind of take notice of all of the sounds that are going on in the background and kind of hone in on them and just be super aware and focus in on them. And when you do something as simple as that, you notice how many different things are going on in your world that you never even thought were happening. And all of those things are affecting you in a very specific and very certain way. And once you take time to be aware about it, you realize that, oh, all these things are going around, but I'm so focused on something else. And then it kind of brings you back to reality in like a very fast way.
And this might be a funny example. We have a fan in our kitchen, which kind of just when we're cooking food, the smoke goes in there, and it kind of just like takes care of that. And that noise is a little bit annoying for me, and Sahan will probably notice it too when he's cooking. And it'll be there for a little while until we turn it off. And once we turn it off, I kind of feel this, I don't know, like it gives me a kind of a relief that kind of annoying sound is not off in the background affecting me. And like I kind of notice a big difference. And I don't know, what do you feel? You feel the same way, Son?
Yeah, I feel like whenever I hear the fan running on, it's like I'm in cooking mode. So pretty much like I'm focused, I'm making something, I'm getting ingredients, I'm cutting things on the cutting board. Like that's what I kind of hear in the background with that sound. And sometimes when the sound is not on, like I'll realize it, like, oh, something's like not right here, like something's different, and then it'll just be the fan. And then
Yeah.
also like other times when I'm not cooking and I'm just in the kitchen to maybe sit down, do whatever I'm doing. We have a TV that's like kind of in the area of our kitchen. Like we have a bar stool set up, and then the TV on that side, or on like a wall close to the bar stool setup. And if I'm watching TV on there, and the fan's on, I'm like, oh, something is bothering me. Something's going on in the background, and it's
Mhm.
always usually the fan. And then we turn it off, and it's like a whole, like once you turn it off, it the whole scene changes, like the whole feeling of the house and the kitchen changes, just like that.
Yeah. And sometimes I even take a little deep breath after that sound goes away, and I'm kind of able to relax. And if somebody's cooking in the kitchen, they turn it off, and I'm watching something on my on the show, like I'm able to be more immersed in and more attentive to that when that sound goes away.
Yeah, so that just like, yeah, when I feel like if I was more mindful about it too, like if I didn't have any music I was listening to while cooking, or if I really was just trying to focus in on everything else was going on, I would have noticed that, oh, it was that sound, that the sound of the fan that was causing that disturbance. So if something in your environment feels out of place, or like it's causing a disturbance, just take a moment to pause, and kind of very fast you'll find like, oh, something in the background's happening. This is not working for me. That's not working for me. Then it makes them a lot easier to address the situation, and then deal with whatever it is that's causing the disturbance. And then you'll find that when you go back into your environment with whatever you were doing before, you can come in much more calmer, more clear, and more connected with the work that you're doing.
Mhm.
And so some of the very first sounds, as far as like the earliest humans, were of course the heartbeat of the mother, and that's heard inside the womb by the child who's in the womb, by the mother's voice, whether it's singing or cooing, to soothe the baby, rhythm of footsteps around a fire, the crackle of flames, the wind, the rain. These are all very basic sounds that you and I know, and were there since the beginnings of human life.
And
And
also, yeah, I wanted to say as well, when you see a mother caring for her baby, she's making a humming noise, rocking back and forth because that rhythm and frequency is kind of resonating with the baby, and it's able to relax and stop crying because of the relaxing humming.
yeah, and all of these different sounds kind of act as different pieces of information for your body to interpret. For example, like if there's an animal and you hear a growl, or a very like malicious low growl, that'll signify danger. If you hear leaves or the wind gushing uh, and moving, that signifies changing weather, or maybe a storm is coming. And then if you hear something as basic like a familiar voice, like the sound of your mom, your sister, your brother, your dad, anything, that can even bring a sense of safety and belonging, just that you heard a familiar voice or something that you're used to. So all of these sounds that we experience are giving us lots and lots of different information, whether it's just for sensory, just to get a feel of what's going on in a certain space, or to generate like different feelings and emotions. All sound has an impact on us, whether you think it or not. Like when I hear a siren going on. It's always like, oh, there's danger. I got to get out the way. Something's happening. So that's just one example.
Mhm.
And for prehistoric sounds, as far as instruments, bone flutes were a thing, and or made from bird bones or mammoth ivory, and they're almost 40,000 years old in Europe. Um, there have been a lot of carved drums and rattles that have been found in lots of ancient sites, and there have actually been cave chambers whose shapes naturally amplify echo and resonance, which are one of the two um, uh, basic concepts about sound. And I didn't really know that. Like, it was kind of interesting to learn about the cave chambers, because this was probably like a place that early humans found shelter or found comfort in, and who knew that they maybe altered the insides of the cave just to amplify echo and resonance. Maybe to, if they were drumming or chanting in there, it added to that whole experience for them. And
Yeah, kind of like if there was a speaker in a room that's kind of like hollowed out, it will be like the cave, like back then. But also when it comes to the bone stuff too, we can imagine our bones are parts of our bone are hollow inside. So like when we feel something happen to us, whether it's physical or emotional or mental, through our body, our bone, through the vibrations, our bones are kind of sending it throughout our body like an
yeah,
instrument.
yeah, exactly. And then this is why, like, caves were like super common ritual sites, is because it makes the sound feel like something bigger, that everyone participating in the ritual can kind of connect to. And a lot of people base these rituals around instruments, dances, and sound at the end of the day, because they know the impact that it has on them, and it just brings everyone's state of being and resonance a lot closer to each other, and it helps them to really connect in a spiritual way. Um, then we have again revisiting the traditions of Vedic India. So the core idea for these people is Nada Brahma, which means the world is sound or God is sound. And the Vedas and Upanishads talk about sound as the first manifestation of the divine. And like we just said earlier, Om is that primordial sound that is said to contain all other sounds. And expanding upon this idea, we have mantra, and a lot of you guys have probably heard the word mantra before, and maybe you use mantras in your daily life. But what mantra literally means is that which protects or liberates the mind. And repeating specific sounds or syllables was believed to purify the mind, balance the subtle energy channels or the nadis that run throughout our body, and influence physical health through vibration. So mantras, like, as you know, are kind of sayings or words or chants that are said kind of over and over and over again. And if you're feeling a certain way, you say that mantra over and over again, and it's a way for you to bring yourself back into balance. Like, it, even in they use mantras in sports psychology as a way for athletes to prepare themselves before a game, before practice, before anything, just to get them into a very pure and a very good state before whatever they're getting into.
And also, it also kind of made me think about this emotional freedom technique our mom does, with at Healing Away as well. She kind of does part of the healing is saying these phrases over and over again, which will kind of give us a vibration sent through our body uh, by listening to ourselves and repeating it, and that kind of made me think about that when it comes to healing.
Yeah, it's almost the same concept, but you're tapping on certain points while you're repeating certain phrases. Usually, the phrases in that technique are going to be specific to whatever um, thing you want emotional release or freedom from. But a mantra can be anything. Like usually, you'll see mantras as like um, kind of like commands. Like I am this, I am that, I am whatever, just to kind of reinforce whatever you want to come into existence. So this can kind of be seen as like um, another alternative or like relative to prayer, because you're repeating the same thing over and over again to make it come into existence, just like you are with prayer. And mantra is like a very good thing to kind of fall back onto when you're feeling uneasy, when you're feeling that things are not going your way. Resorting back to something like a mantra can be super super powerful when you're feeling any distress or any disturbance.
Mhm.
And if we look at this from a physics perspective, a mantra is a repeated pattern of frequencies, and repetition creates this phenomenon called entrainment. And we talked about this on the last podcast about music. And entrainment is pretty much when your brain waves, breathing, and heart rate begin to sync with the rhythm. And that's just from a perspective of what's happening in your body. But entrainment is pretty much um, when sounds or anything is able to sync with the rhythm. So, like for example, whatever music is playing, that means I'm either tapping my foot or nodding my head to the sound that's being played. I'm matching um, the way I move and the rhythm at which I move with whatever sound I'm listening to.
Yeah, also with the sound thing, uh about the like regulating our heart's rhythm. I was watching this movie called Whiplash. I don't know if you know San. There was a very intense moment where the drummer was playing at and performing, and it was kind of building up with the sound, and it was getting really loud, but kind of calming. So I kind of was in awe, and was my heartbeat felt like very deep, but very slow. So I kind of felt like I was in sync with the sounds that are going on in the movie.
Yeah, and I think like if you like that's a whole category in itself. Like movies incorporate a lot of effects, and one of the major or most prominent effects are the sound, not just the visual effects. The sound effects also play a huge part into the experience of the viewer. And something like, for example, in a horror movie, like scary music playing when um, the victim is running away from uh, the murderer or whoever is the main antagonist, adding that extra layer of music adds to the whole experience. And if you kind of would remove that music aspect to all of the movies that you watch, I feel like the experience that you have wouldn't be as intense or as immersed compared to when you do have all of the added sound effects from the music.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's really interesting too. Like a lot of people when they make intro videos or like overview video, they make the sounds and beats really upbeat and overwhelming a little bit to kind of make the person that's watching excited about it.
Yeah, and I think it. yeah, just thinking about it, it really shows you like, oh, this, like, everything is adding to your overall experience. And if you kind of think about it, the sound is like one of the most basic things that is contributing to your overall experience. What we hear, like, is affecting everything, the way we're feeling, the way we're moving, and the way we do everything.
Yeah, like you can even see the difference. Say you played music in your backyard when, say, there's like a party or gathering or something, and turn that music completely off. Everybody's vibe and feeling will feel a lot different, and it will affect how they talk, how they move around, how they feel.
Yeah, and that it, like, if you want to build like a good atmosphere for like a gathering, you want to play like uplifting music, very upbeat, maybe something that everyone likes. That's why I also think when you brought up like friend groups, like a lot of friend groups seem to maybe have like similar music taste, even if it differs a little bit. And like, I think that shows like, oh, all of us are interested in this and we can connect around this genre or that genre. And maybe even if what we like specifically is a little bit different, we can all connect and relate and enjoy something together.
Mhm.
And in ancient Egypt, moving on a bit, these people have incorporated chants in temples and have used it as a way to tune the body. So priests and priestesses used chants, intonations, and sistrums, which are metal rattles during ceremonies. And some temples seem to be acoustically designed so that certain frequencies are amplified at specific spots. So just like the caves, which were kind of changed or hollowed out or uh, whatever was done to them increased or changed the way the specific frequency was amplified. Just the way, just as in the way the Egyptians have done to their temples, they've kind of created their structure around the idea of amplifying specific sounds or frequencies. So
Yeah,
that,
and
no, go
there's
ahead.
several temples in Egypt I saw that have different rooms which amplified different frequency. So if you went into a temple and you wanted to pray in a certain spot and feel a certain frequency, you can go to a different room. So I think that's really interesting, and I think that will make a big difference. Not big, well, it will make a significant difference to like before if a temple had no different rooms. I think it kind of makes a difference. I don't know. What do you think about if people added like different rooms which cause different frequencies to be amplified?
Yeah, I think they would have a different feeling surrounding that room that would maybe dictate the purpose that they use the room for. For example, you use a kitchen for cooking, you use a bedroom for sleeping, use a bathroom for going to the toilet or showering. I think just as in the same way those different rooms have different functions, the same way can be applied to how you maybe structure the rooms for amplifying different sounds.
Mhm.
Um, that's kind of interesting. I don't really know the exact architecture that they used or different structures that they used to create these frequencies. I'm sure some of it has to tie into with the pyramids. Um, but I the Egyptians are known for like lots of different architecture that is aligned geometrically. So they're really focused in on different shapes and different geometrical structures, and that's why you see um, pretty substantial things like the pyramids. Um, I think going into ancient Egypt would be another cool episode we could talk about. But yeah, it's like really cool to see how people are and tribes are designing their buildings to go with whatever sound or prayers that they're doing as well.
Hmm.
And moving on to Greece, which is another very important uh, uh, landmark in history. It the kind of ideas around music they developed started with Pythagoras. So everyone knows the Pythagorean theorem that was created by this gentleman Pythagoras. And although he was really involved into geometry and trigonometry, he was also obsessed with harmonics as well. So he discovered that when you pluck a string and divide it into different precise ratios, like either 1/2 or 2/3, you get intervals that sound harmonious, like octaves and fifths, if you guys know anything about music. And from this discovery, he proposed the idea of the music of the spheres. And the music of the spheres is pretty much the idea that the planets themselves move in harmonic ratios, creating a kind of cosmic music that we ourselves can't hear, but that shapes reality. And the Greeks used music and modes in the form of scales. So I know you guys probably, if you guys seen the symbol for Libra, Libra is like pretty much like a scale with like two plates here and then one pole in the middle, and then there's a chain connected, and the scales either move up or down. They've actually used the scales for music purposes as well, which I didn't know, as a form of emotional medicine. So certain modes were thought to make you brave, others were considered maybe too soft or too decadent for warriors. And they kind of used the music for different things, or to trigger different emotional states of being.
And also, what he found was when he first kind of wanted to go into learning about sound, he was passing a blacksmith, and when the blacksmith was hitting different items and materials to forge with the hammer, different hammers had a different sound. So he realized that a different instrument or a different size or shape of a string could really give a different frequency and amplitude.
Yeah, and Plato also uh, had some other ideas along with Pythagoras. What Plato talked about was about regulating music in society, because it affected character. So different societal classes would listen to different musics based on the character. And Plato had a lot of different ideas, but one of them at least related to music and sound and its importance. So pretty much like while India was using mantra for inner liberation, Greece was kind of taking over the harmonic side, side of harmonics and ratio, to understand both the concepts around the cosmos and the psyche. And now we're just going to go over a few more traditions where sound was being used for kind of not just art, but also healing purposes. So we have the Tibetan and Himalayan traditions, where they're using singing bowls along with mantras. So they're using the mantras to align the mind with specific qualities. These qualities can be compassion, clarity, or fearlessness. And then they're using metal singing bowls in these sessions of mantras or meditation for healing purposes as well. And what the singing bowls are supposed to do is produce rich overtones, which means that you're experiencing multiple frequencies at once. And once you tap the singing bowl and then circle the rim with the I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like a little stick with like a suede edge to it. Once you circle the rim, the friction that's created by circling it around makes that singing bowl vibrate, and then that vibration travels through the air into your ears and the body. And what a lot of people report when they experience this is deep relaxation, emotional release, and a sense of a reset to the body. Joshin, you're muted.
Oh yeah. Also, with the several different frequencies, like you were saying, when that happens with the singing bowl, when it has two different sounds, in our brain, a third phantom frequency occurs as well, which puts you in a more meditative state. And you can also kind of amplify this feeling if you lay down on the ground and just put the singing bowl right in the middle of your chest or a little bit lower, and you hit the singing bowl and you let it ring for a bit. That will also give your body a whole vibration and kind of like a meditative feeling and relaxing feeling.
Yeah, and we've seen many different types of singing bowls. Like there's glass ones, crystal ones, and metal ones. The most common one you'll find is the metal ones. But yeah, once it's kind of cool to like play with it and get that vibration. And once you're able to create the friction that you need, like you'll really notice like the sound can project pretty far, and it kind of gives you like internal rattle or vibration that you can like physically feel. And it really feels like nice and relaxing.
Yeah, that's why Tibetan monks and people that lived in the Himalayas use it to kind of put them into a more relaxed state so that they can use their prayer to give themselves a better rhythmic feeling in their body. So using these different tools and instruments, all these different cultures use to get a better feeling for their vibration.
Yeah, and I hope like all of these, like I hope you guys can see like the relationship between um all of the different areas. Like you can see sound in history, and like if you look at it from its origins, like you can see how sound really is not just a means for art. Like it's also used heavily for healing purposes and mind calming purposes and purifying purposes as well. Like it really has a spiritual healing aspect to it, that also has its physical benefits too. And I don't know, it's something I can really like use or apply super quickly if I want to bring myself back or give myself a reset, like at any point in the day. And like the reason why going back and remembering all of this history is important is to remind us that sound is not something new age, and it's one of the oldest human technologies. And pretty much you can realize that your body is an instrument in itself. Like your heartbeat is a drum, your breath is a wind instrument, your bones are resonant chambers. Like healing is with sound is less about buying tools to help you and more about like awareness. So all of these sounds that are out and about in the world are also within you as well, and you have the capacity to make all of these different sounds.
Yeah, and the most important thing, like Salan's saying, is how your body reacts to certain sounds. Like you don't want to just go somewhere and put yourself in a situation where you're not comfortable. Kind of figuring out what your body agrees with and where you want to be is the main thing.
Yeah, and I think yeah, the history around it really gives you an idea of where you want to go as well, because I think the reason why everyone should be familiar with all of these stories or take the time to learn or see about all of the different creation stories is it gives you a way to connect back and visualize like kind of where you're headed with yourself. Because I think if you don't know where everything started or everything came from, how can you kind of navigate or take advantage if you don't know how something's created in the first place? So now that you know sound is something super important in creating something, in creating a different reality, you can now take it and apply it to yourself. So this is something like everyone should know and be aware of.
Hmm.
And yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah, and
that
also one thing I wanted to talk about in the future maybe is smell. I feel like smell is another topic where it brings up certain emotions and different feelings. Like if you go into a certain building and you smell the kind of like a smell that takes you back somewhere and picture something in your head. That's an emotion that needs to be explored, I feel like, and we could talk about it in the future.
yeah, I think we could cover like episodes based on almost all the five senses. So like
Mhm.
uh hearing, touch, smelling, sight. What else am I missing? What did I just say? Four. Wait, sound, sight, hearing, taste, and smell. Okay, yeah, we could probably do um an episode for each one and show
Yeah.
you what's really going on or how you can change or think differently about the way you um are sensing all of the information that's around you.
Yeah, and if we can explain it better for you guys to subconsciously be aware of certain things you should avoid or even add to your daily life, I think that that's great. And like if you have any recommendations for things you want to know, let us know.
Yeah, definitely. And do you have any other last comments?
Mm-mm. Yep.
So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode about the history of sound. Hopefully, we kind of covered like as much as we could have as far as the different cultures and origin stories. Just know that there's a lot much more than what we talked about, but at least we kind of gave you an idea of the main ones or where you maybe have seen it before. But hopefully, you guys found the information helpful and it gives you kind of a new way to approach things. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode, Champions of Wellness podcast, History of Sound, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
See you guys.